Well, we're excited to play a really good Georgia Southern team. They have a different style of offense. They have a lot of offense. They have every kind of option you can imagine. They run a gap scheme. They have a really big, nice back in number 2. Then they have another back in 5 that's a good player. Their entire offensive line and their tight end are back, so they understand what coach is trying to get done. They, finished 8-5 last year. I think he's been to bowl games 3 years in a row, and so that our defense is going to have to prepare for them. We certainly prepared for them in fall camp. We had different individual periods. We probably spent 3 to 4 different days working on their option because we didn't feel like we could get it all just like we wanted in just a week's time. And on defense, they're an odd team, multiple twisting. They're a quick team, and we're excited to play them, but we know that they're a good opponent. I have that.
Coach,
Thank you.
we're all human. So a lot of people say it's human nature just to let down after a big win like that, and then Texas A&M on the horizon. How do you guard against that with your players and keep them up?
Well, you try to have the media not say what you just did would be the first thing. No, I'm teasing you. I'll be honest with you. I'm not one bit concerned about it, and I'm not going to talk about it a lot, to be honest. From the way that we beat Mississippi State last year and went to Auburn, and then, we had that call at the end of the game. Our kids could have got the big head after Mississippi State. They didn't. They played a good game against Auburn. That happened. They came back and beat Ole Miss. Went and played A&M pretty good for last year. It was a pretty good game for us, and then came home and beat Tennessee. So we have proven in the past that we can just flush whatever success or however bad it may be. We can flush it and go to the next week, and I believe that's what we'll do.
You play a team that does have the triple option. What are the keys defensively? What do you have to get done? And then also they have a quarterback coming off suspension. What do you expect at the quarterback spot there?
Well, I expect them to play him. He was their starter last year, really good player. I thought 19, their quarterback they have playing now, I thought he did a nice job. They were kind of using 5, who is their running back as well, in there the first game. And then this past game, they used 19 more, and he played as well. But I think they're going to get back. The guy had a 2-game suspension. He was their starter. I'm sure he's been practicing the entire time. To defend the option, it's a triple a lot of times. Sometimes it's not. But, you got to have somebody for the dive, somebody for the quarterback, and then you have to have Allie both inside and outside on the pitch. We've got to make him pitch the football, and because I think they've pitched the ball 4 times in 2 games. So the quarterback wants to run the football, and maybe this, their veteran quarterback is different, but you have to be sound, because if you're not, that's like getting outside of 21 other guys and you're gone at that point. It's going to be a challenge for us.
Sam, Arkansas is ranked, as I'm sure you know, in both the coaches and the AP poll, first time in 5 years. What's your reaction, thoughts on that?
Well, I think we should be ranked. I think we're a top 25 team, and I'm proud that we are. I'm not afraid to be ranked 20, 24, 1, whatever it may be. Those polls don't mean a lot at this point in time, but to say I don't think we deserve to be in the top 25 is I do. I think we deserve to be there, and I'm proud that we are, and I don't think it'll affect the way we play.
Coach, it's kind of that same vein, but second year, 4th game of the season, you're going to be on the SEC, the kind of the featured game of the week against A&M at 2:30 on CBS. What does that mean to you? I mean, come in here the second year and have it programmed.
I'll be honest with you, I really haven't, I found out about 30 minutes. I really haven't had a whole lot of time to appreciate the question. I really haven't had a whole lot of time to think about that. It probably will mean more if we beat Georgia Southern,
Coach, you got, I think, 5 players over 44 yards in the game. And we talked about all those guys, but we haven't talked a whole lot about the offensive line because that didn't happen without them. After reviewing the film, I know it's a group effort, but does anybody stand out specifically, grade exceptionally high or anything?
Well, I think our tackles did. You know, I think our tackles played well, and Ricky Stromberg, those guys played well. I'm not saying the guards didn't, but you know, Bo Limmer, I think, played well. As a unit, they played well. But if you're asking me who kind of stuck out for us, it was Ricky and the 2 tackles. And to be honest with you, you go through a game, and you know everything gets added in the stats. In other words, the kneels and you know the victory at the a couple of victories and all that. So you know it's well over 7 yards a carry, and you know who starts that is KJ. Anytime that you have the threat of a guy like that running the football, you're going to take a few more guys out of the box to the edge. Your linebackers are going to play a little bit wider to stop his ability to run, and it helped us in handing the ball off.
Was Soley's kind of lack of size, is that what would have been keeping him out of the rotation, and just how do you feel he played as far as when you have this stuff?
No, it's just where he is on the depth chart. I mean, if he wants to move up the depth chart, he'll practice better and he'll beat somebody out. But it's not lack of size or anything. It just happened to be where he is on the depth chart right now.
How do you feel he played?
I think he's playing better. You know, we brought him in some third down situations and things of that nature. He just has to, and he knows this, he has to be a consistent player each down. He has to play hard every down, and he's getting much better at that. And when he does, I think you'll see him more on the field.
Coach, do you have any update on Grant Morgan?
Grant, I don't know how he's going to be, you know, to be honest with you. You know, he's tough. I expect him to go out to practice today and do what he can do. But I think he's still a little bit more of day by day. We'll know a little bit more about him, how he feels at practice today, as soon as practice is over.
Coach, there was a play early in the game Saturday when Joe Fouché, I think, went airborne to
Wasn't
bring
that
down
awesome?
a tackler. I wonder what you thought of the team's pursuit defensively the other night and how that part of the game has grown since you got here.
Well, you have to give credit to the coaches over there, but, you know, players have to do it too, you know, so, but they have to be motivated to do it and a belief to do it. But that was pretty cool. You know, I watched it several different times when I was grading the tape and looking at it. He launched about 5 yards and landed around his ankles and got him on the ground with a host of other people. That was my favorite play of the game, by the way, because I think there was 7 or 8 Razorbacks around the ball carrier, and it's something we can build on. But Joe's been playing well, along with most everybody on the defense, and our linebacker play has been really good as well.
Sam, I had a 2-parter. They lost, Georgia Southern lost to Florida Atlantic 38-6. Obviously, the other coach, they were embarrassed, didn't play well. What'd you think watching that game tape, if you have already, and how do you think they'll come in here after a loss like that?
Well, you can't get really caught up in 38-6 because Georgia Southern was up 6-0 and had an opportunity to go up 13-0 and fumbled down around the 7-8 yard line in the second quarter. So, and then it kind of went south on them after that. So they played a really good first half. They just couldn't get much going in the second half. You know, I do know this about South Georgia kids. They're tough. They're a little bit like us, I think. They kind of got a little chip on their shoulder and maybe fighting to try to get respect and things of that nature. But they went south on them after to me, I don't know, I'm not their coach, but to me, after they fumbled down there with an opportunity to go up 2 scores.
And the other one, I saw this on Twitter. I think might have been Peter Burns or somebody from ESPN. I assume you were on a TV or radio deal with them. And he said that you said you went to bed at 4:30 a.m. Sunday.
I did, yeah. I went to sleep. I think I was in bed maybe 4:25.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Was that just all the, congratulations and celebration? And when did you get up and how do you feel? Because I know at my age, if I go to bed at 4:30, I'm not real good for a couple of days.
Well, we had some folks over, a lot of people came over and had a good time. And And I laid down before then. I just couldn't go to sleep. You know, it's like a bunch of people probably, you know, thinking about the game and all that. And then, you know, we had recruits out to the house. You know, we had some official visits this weekend. We had them out to the house for breakfast at 9. And then, you know, the day goes on, and I went home around 10:30 last night. And it's really how it is, to be honest with you, because if you, let's say you have a night game on the road and you get home 2:33 in the morning, which happens when you go on the road, depends on how far. Business as usual on Sunday, because at 1 o'clock I'm going to be in with the defensive staff, and 2 offense, 3 special teams, and then as a staff, and then we're going on to the next game. So it's kind of how we're built from August 1st to hopefully January 1st.
Well, Coach, I was going to ask you about recruiting. I know you had a lot of visitors in, but also I know you probably contacted a lot of them. How was the reaction? I know you can't do specifics, but how was the reaction overall from the recruits?
Yeah, I think they were giddy, you know, excited about the Razorbacks. I know the ones that were here, it was really cool to see their face, you know. Some of them that had committed to us, you could see their face like, thank you, you know. I knew I know I want to be a Razorback, but I do a little bit more now, you know, so it was a good weekend.
You talk about this a little bit on game night, but the cutback lanes, can you talk about just how that's a part of what you guys do and how it was available on Saturday?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, our quarterback holds that cutback lane. You know, I think they're worried about his read and what it's going to be, and is he going to run the ball back there? And by that time, you know, if you can just get the linebacker or whomever it is, or safety support, to freeze for a second, you know, a half a second in the game of football is a big, big deal. And it could go from a 4-yard run to, you know, 30, like on Rockets. You know, he got hit in the leg, I believe, you know, but he didn't go down. And, you know, you take another half second, the guy form tackles him. So that support just was slow. I thought maybe, I don't know, I'm not the coach for Texas, but it looked like the support wasn't quite there as fast.
In the pass game, I mean, I know it's nice to dominate somebody with the run the way you did, but you feel like there's more there for the pass game and what it's going to take to get that place?
Well, I think it's going to take us not to rush for 7 yards a carry, you know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not throwing it. If I'm average 7 yards a carry, I'll never throw the football. If I'm averaging 2, we may light it up. I don't know, but I think that KJ can do that, and he'll only get better. And I think it starts with him getting confidence in running the football, and it makes us a better football team. I'm sorry, I was just trying to be funny.
Well, after a game like that, I mean, you go into this one thinking that you got 4 running backs and you plan to use them in rotation as far as how that goes?
I think so. I think they all bring a little something different, you know, to the game. You know, Rocket's got more of a powerful, you know, got a speed, a edginess to him. Dominique can make you miss, you know. I like him, what he's doing. And of course, AJ's really fast. And I think we all saw that the other night, and he had a really good practice, and proud of him. And then Smitty, you know, he's physical and runs hard, and he's a leader. So I look for us to put the best back in the game until he gets tired, and then we'll put the next one in there. I think it worked out well the other night.
You mentioned earlier, Limmer played well. I think Pro Football Focus named him the National Team of the Week. Well, what's he doing well, and is he maybe pushing for more playing time or a spot in the starting role?
Yeah, you know, that's between us and him, because we haven't spoke with our team yet about, you know, what we might or might not do and things of that nature. But he's earned, yes, to answer your question, he's earned more playing time, and it's because of his physical play. He's a strainer. He wants to get guys on their back instead of just blocking them or being in position blocking. He's a guy that wants to dominate a defensive lineman, and we need more of that. We need more guys that want to finish.
Coach, I know AJ Green missed some practice time in
Yeah.
camp, maybe a little bit behind, but how have you seen him progress, into the back that we saw flash a few times Saturday?
Yeah, we've seen him progress a lot in practice, with that concussion that he had earlier in the fall. He missed a lot of valuable time. We certainly wanted to see him get tackled, in scrimmages or not get tackled, however you want to look at it. And so he started really having good practices, playing faster. Again, those freshmen, they don't know what the read is, what the play is, any of those things early. And you can take a 10-3 guy and he runs 11-5 because he's just thinking all the time. And he understands the plays, what his reads are now. He's playing a lot faster. And I look for us to use him more and more each week. I think he's a good player.
Coach, through a game and a half, what's Hayden Henry doing better, differently than maybe this time last year that's allowing him to flourish?
Who'd you say? Well, first of all, I think it's his first true off season to get healthy. I usually don't do this, but I told him, if he would come back, that it was about the surgery, about building his shoulders up, and not about spring ball. So we ended up, he practiced in spring ball, but he never scrimmaged, and he just never got hurt in the spring, and he got healthier and healthier, bigger, confidence started growing, got stronger. And so that's the only thing I really can attribute to that. And I think they really click with their linebacker. I think they click with Coach Shear and Coach Odom. But he's playing lights out, and he's fearless. I mean, and kind of scary at times, not just for them, but for him. He's played 90 miles an hour.
Sam, their quarterback, the guy's going to start now, Justin Tomlin. He's played in the past, but he didn't play these first two games. How does that impact preparation when you're looking at these first two games, but he's not in there? And then I guess you obviously have to go back and look at previous seasons.
I don't think a lot, to be honest with you, because the offense is similar. It's kind of the same. So I don't think a whole lot, except we're going to have to show our kids last year's tape to see him and all his abilities. He made some pitches last year that so far this year the other quarterbacks either didn't or not comfortable with doing. And so he's truly going to take that offense, in my opinion, to a different level because he has done it so much, and I'm sure he's been practicing. So I don't know a whole lot, except we're just going to have to show him how talented that he is.
This may be off the wall, but I know his first two games, captains go out. I think it was Catalan went out for the coin toss, and then the other guys laid back, and then the other night it was Grant. Is that a deal where you can't have 5 captains at the coin toss, or what's the deal with that?
It was kind of cool. Grant Morgan, he a special old kid, and got a lot of them, by the way. But I told him that you could take 4. The officials rule you can take 4 out to the coin toss, but the 5th guy's got to stay back. And Grant was the captain of the first game. I wanted Cat this week because he came from Texas. He was only captain from Texas. I wanted him to go out this week. And I said, hey, all you guys can walk out there and one back. And Grant said, we're not leaving one of our guys behind. So we're going to have one go out and the 4 is going to stay together. Thought it was pretty cool.
Coach, I don't think Burks has played necessarily bad to the first 2 weeks, but maybe not what we've come to expect from him. Do you think that's just a matter of him still kind of working his way back from injury, or is the defenses targeting him, or what do you
No,
think?
I don't think so. He caught 5 balls in the first half, and we was running for 7+ yards a carry. Now, I will say this, he was the happiest guy in the locker room and blocking his tail off and all that. So I think he would tell you he didn't have a good first game. I felt like he played really well this game, and he did what we asked him to do, and he did it with a great attitude. It's hard to do, if you're getting all these accolades and you're worried about being drafted in the first round and all that. It's hard to put the team first. It really is, but he does it and does it well. Makes and to be honest with you, he's setting a great example, and it makes our team better.
I noticed on the Texas postgame interviews, they said y'all did a few things defensively that they didn't expect, that they hadn't seen, hadn't practiced for. Maybe shooting your linebacker. What all was a little different, man?
I just think, we didn't show any 3-man front, before that game. Now we did last year. We clicked down into a 3 technique on the backside, which last year we didn't do. And we tried to shoot the 3 technique through the B gap. Basically, we knew they were a good stretch team, and we figured they were going to try to stretch it, away from the back, which is true. Everybody does, because he was offset, and we were trying to shoot the 3 technique through there, which meant if you block it conventional, your backside tackle has to block him. Well, you can't. I mean, it's impossible. Old line coach myself. I mean, it's hard to do. And we were getting penetration in there. That was part of it. There was a couple of new blitzes Barry had put in that they hadn't seen before. So I'm assuming that I don't want to speak for coach, but I'm assuming that's what he's talking about.
Of all your drives the other night, the one after KJ's pick and they scored their first touchdown, that next drive, that was a really important drive for momentum, confidence, and everything. What did you think of KJ's reaction and the leading the team after that?
He's our quarterback. I mean, that's why that's part of the reason why we believe in him. And nobody on the sideline, not myself, nobody panicked. Nobody. I mean, the guy made a really good interception. If he doesn't, then it's 7. We score. I mean, if he doesn't make the play, it's a touchdown for us. But he made a really nice play. And sometimes quarterbacks going to throw an interception. I don't know if Tom Brady's ever thrown a pick, but he probably has. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure maybe he hasn't, but that's going to happen. And the way he came back, I'm talking about the entire offensive line, but I believe that was the drive they threw the pass down to Tyson Morris, to start that drive. And that's called maturity and no panic and belief. And our entire team believes in him, and certainly I do. Thanks, everybody.